And now, What's My Line? Brought to you by Stop at Spray Deodorant. Poof, there goes perspiration. Poof Deodorant Body Powder, the body powder you spray. The Nest Shampoo, the new flowing cream shampoo. All in the first truly functional cosmetic containers, far easier to use. All created by Dr. Jules Montagnier, the famous cosmetic chemist. Time now to enjoy What's My Line?
Now, let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in the New York Journal-American and papers coast to coast, and who has just returned from Wilmington, Delaware, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And on my left, the charming and brilliant young humorist who has just returned from Broadway and 42nd Street, Mr. Steve Allen.
I had a Coke over there. Thank you. Thank you, Dorothy. And on my left, one of the lovely ladies of radio and television who starts a new TV show tomorrow for the Army and the Air Force, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you.
And on my left, the gracious and hospitable squire of Mont Kisco, Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
On my left, just back from taking lessons in swimming from that lifeguard we had last week at Palisades Amusement Park, Mr. John Charles Daly.
Thank you. Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What's My Line, presented by Stop It. Once again tonight, we have some nice people who've journeyed through the hot and turgid evening to join us here in our theater and bring with them some interesting occupations which we trust will give our friends on the panel some trouble so that they will carry home some prizes. We'll also have a famous guest challenger before the panel a bit later in the program, but right now it's time for the experts to meet our first challenger whose job they simply have got to spot. So would you sign in, please, sir? Bill Madden. Bill Madden. Is that right? I don't think the camera's doing it, Bill, but I want to say those are the best fruit boots I've seen in a long time. My son's got some of those.
I thank you.
They're lovely. Actually, we can probably dirty them up some more a bit later. But first, you tell us now where you live.
Pittston, Pennsylvania.
Pittston, Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's a very good state. A very good state to come from and be in, but I have another estate I want you to get into. Would you walk down in front of the panel over here, please?
Shake hands with me, Mr. Madden, will you? Oh, he's got a marvelous grip.
All right. Bill, if I may call you that. Come over here and join me. See, I told you those fruit boots were in great shape, didn't I? Well, now, what we do at this point is I think perhaps you know, Bill, if I may call you Bill.
Yes, sir.
Is we give them one free guess as to what your line may be on the basis of their very brief acquaintanceship with you, and we always begin the free guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
I think he's a prize fighter.
A prize fighter. Mr. Allen.
By the red hair, I think he's a talent scout for the Tin Ter people.
Miss Francis.
I think he's a caddy.
Mr. Cerf.
I think he's a member of the Day family, and he played in Life with Father.
No, I'm afraid nobody has it. We'll let our viewers at home have a further look at Mr. William Madden, Jr., and at the same time, we'll tell them what his line is. But the panel will have to take. All right, William, from here on in, every time you can beat a no answer out of that panel, it'll cost them $5. We keep the record of all that up here. 10 of these no's, and you have won the game. All right, Mr. Madden is salaried. With that, let's begin the general questioning with Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Madden, do you deal in services?
Yes?
Are your services performed for both men and women?
Yes?
Do your services ever involve children?
Yes.
Do you do something for grown-ups in relationship to their children?
No.
I wouldn't think so, actually. That's 1 down and 9 to go. Mr. Allen.
Do you usually perform your services indoors?
Yes.
It's too bad in this weather. Is there anything of a physical nature involved in your services?
No.
That would be 2 down and 8 to go. Miss Francis.
May I ask Dorothy if she wondered if he was a babysitter?
Yes, I did.
Is there anything instructive in what you do in an athletic way?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Bill, do you go into people's houses to perform the service that you do for them?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
In other words, you do your work indoors, but you're not in a house. Are you in...
Well, yes, I mean, Mr. Madden performs his services indoors, but not in the typical home dwelling. That's right.
Maybe he repairs doors or something.
Is there more than one child present at a time when you're doing whatever it is you do?
It's possible.
That was a sneaky John Daly answer, I know. Would there ever be as many as 10 or 15 children at once?
Yes.
Do you do anything that they watch if you don't actually teach them?
No.
That's
I
fine.
mean, they can't see you?
No.
Well, actually, we don't want to mislead you. We assume that the question had as its specific purpose to determine whether Mr. Madden performs some manual function or some service which is of itself so interesting that it would bear watching.
Yes.
That is not what he does. 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Allen.
Does what you do, Bill, change the people to whom you do it in any way?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Miss Francis.
Have we determined whether there is any product whatsoever used in Mr. Madden's job?
That has not been determined. If you'd like to ask the question, we'll
I know
answer
that I'm
it
a
for you.
big fool to do this. But I am going to ask you if there is anything that you use in your work, in your service.
No.
That's 7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Cerf.
You don't use anything at all in your service?
Well,
I don't want another no on this. I'm just repeating.
It has been elicited by Miss Francis that there is no product involved necessarily in his service.
Do you operate any kind of a machine?
No.
8 down and 2 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
You do something.
No.
Yes.
Do you consider that you are in or affiliated with any type of entertainment, sports, or the 7 lively arts?
No.
9 down and 1 to go, Mr. Allen.
I just have one question. Don't you think we're stupid? Do you wear a uniform?
Yes.
Good for you.
I'm sorry I brought it up. We were doing so well.
Maybe it... Oh, no.
No call for a conference. Proceed, Mr. Allen.
Is it by any chance a uniform connected with some large organization?
I think we could say that this is a uniform that is connected with a large organization, yes. Don't you think so, Bill? It's a large organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I correct in believing that this is not one of the armed services?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you don't sell anything. No, we've already taken care of that. Is it a white uniform by any chance?
A white uniform?
No.
10 down and no more to go, and hang on to your chairs. You forgot one beautiful key question. Mr. William
Profit
Madden, Jr. is a congressional page boy. Bill, I've been sitting here and deathly fear that somebody would say you work for a profit-making organization, but they didn't do
We
it.
just can't...
Now, what Bill actually does, I will explain further. There are 3 kinds of pages on the Hill. He is that kind of page who meets the constituents as they come to see the congressman, goes into the floor, says to the congressman, Mr. and Mrs. Smith are here and would like to see you. Congressman leaves floor, goes out. Bill escorts him, waits there, more constituents, more congressmen. Very interesting work, and also very interesting program. Bill, you have won the full prize of $50, and we're tickled to death. Very good of you to come and see us. Nice to have you on What's My Life. All right, panel, let's see what we can do with another challenger. Would you sign in, please, ma'am? Arlene Foster, is that right? Is it Miss Foster?
Correct.
Miss Foster, would you tell us, first of all, where you're from?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York. Well, we have We have two things for you. Some friends in the audience from Brooklyn and some people from Manhattan who would like to know you better. So will you walk down in front of the panel, please?
Will you stop here a minute and shake hands with me? Thank you.
Now, Bennett, would you shake hands with me? Please?
Yes, it'll be as much fun.
All right, Miss Foster, will you come over here now, please, and sit down next to me? And I think very probably that you know that at this point we give the panel one free guess as to what your line may be, and we always begin the free guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
I think she's a beautician.
A beautician, Mr. Allen.
I think she models pearl-studded bunion pads.
Miss Francis.
I think that she is an acrobat.
Mr. Cerf.
I think she runs a delicatessen store.
No, I'm afraid nobody has it. We'll let our viewers have another look at Miss Foster, and at the same time, we'll tell them what her line is. But the panel, as usual, got to dig. All right, Miss Foster, the rules are very simple, you know, and no answer, $5. 10 no's, we keep the record for you right here, so you'll know where you stand at all times. You have won the game after 10 no's. All right, Miss Foster is salaried with that. Let's begin the general questioning with Steve Allen.
Is there a product connected with what you do, Miss Foster?
Yes.
Is it something that a housewife might come into contact with?
Yes.
Could she pick one of these up at a department store?
Yes.
Is this something that could possibly be worn?
Yes.
If Arlene were wearing one of these right now, would we all notice it?
What did you say? If Arlene were
If
wearing...
Arlene were wearing one of these right now, would everyone notice it?
Would everybody notice it? Yeah.
By the reaction of the audience, I gather that this is not something Arlene would generally wear to the program. Is that correct?
Well, certainly from the reaction of the audience, you could suspect this is not one of the...
I felt very confident of that
Yeah.
fact, sir. Is this then perhaps something that would be worn out of doors?
Yes.
Is it ever worn at the beach, possibly?
It could be.
Yes.
Could be, yeah.
Are these things ever tight-fitting at all?
Yes.
If Arlene wore one of these to the beach, would a lot of fellas...
You didn't have to finish the question. Miss Foster said yes.
A lot of fellas would, but you're not sure what. All right. On the cover of Look magazine, the current issue, I think, is there a picture of Marilyn Monroe wearing one of these?
No, I'm sorry now. One down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Is this thing that I might be wearing useful?
Yes.
Is it used to protect the person that wears it in any way?
Yes.
Is it something that is worn on special occasions?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I want to be perfectly fair. There are circumstances which could be described as special when it is worn, but there are also utilitarian periods when you would put it to use. Yes.
Thanks, Lou.
Oh, that's perfectly all right, actually.
Is it something that can be worn in any season?
No.
Well, you actually, yeah. Well, 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf. That was marginal no. And the way the question was posed, we still give you no.
Miss Foster, in other words, this would be worn at some particular time of the year in preference to another time of the year.
Yes.
Would that time possibly be the hot weather in summer?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Would Arlene look a little odd if she... I'm sorry, Arlene.
It's
but
all
you
right.
might as well-
I hope I get one of these, whatever it is.
I was going to ask, would it be rather unusual if Arlene wore one of these summer or winter?
Oh, well, I just gave it back.
Would you say that I would be unlikely to wear one of these?
Yes.
All right. How about the boys? Would it be unlikely that they would wear it, too?
Yes.
There's probably one of them who might under some No, actually, the answer to that would be yes, Dorothy.
Is this something that would be more likely to be worn by either children or animals?
Yes.
Well, is it more likely to be worn by animals?
Yes.
Still one, Arlene?
And it's worn more in the winter than in the summer?
Yes.
Ooh, is it something for Fido to wear?
Yes.
And would it be something that would protect him from the elements in the winter?
Yes.
I feel worse all
Oh, but
the
there are
time.
so many cute little things for dogs. Does this cover a more or less large area of the doggie's anatomy?
Yes.
Is it either a coat or a sweater?
Yes.
Yes, actually, the general term would be a blanket, but if I think Miss Foster is being very fair in accepting coat, because that's what it actually is, a dog blanket that they wear. You snap them on with buttons and
Oh, yes, I call
all of
those
these,
coats,
that sort
little
of thing. Very
overcoats.
good, Dorothy. Well, I must say, I would say, Miss Foster, that I was hoping to give them a little bit more trouble, and we still have a little bit left here to do it with. What is Miss Foster's relationship to, quote, the dog coat or blanket?
She
Model.
sells them.
She sells them. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Allen.
Oh, she doesn't. Oh, I was so sure she did. She makes them?
She makes them is absolutely right. That's as far as we can take that. Well, Miss Foster, you have done only fairly well with the prizes, but we enjoyed your visit. Hope that you enjoyed being with us. Nice to have you on What's My Line. Good luck. And now, we're going to meet our mystery guest in just a moment. Now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity. And my friends in the panel would know our guest immediately, so as usual, we have provided them with blindfolds. Are they all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right. Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery celebrity, we dispense with all usual preliminaries, get right down to the general questioning, which we will begin with Mr. Bennett, Cerf.
Well, there was a spontaneous burst of applause when you walked in. Is your face familiar to the public?
Yes, I would say it was.
Let's settle one thing right away. Are you a male?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever dallied in Hollywood?
Yes, I've been known to dally a little in Hollywood.
Did you dally in more than one picture in Hollywood?
Yes, sir.
Would you say that you made most of your reputation in movies?
I would say our guest is well known for his work in Hollywood. Yes, Mr. Cerf.
Have you ever appeared in any musical pictures in Hollywood?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever made any musicals for any of the very big studios there? Let's say MGM.
Yes, I have. I've worked for MGM.
Well, they're all, I don't know where I'm getting, they're all the same. Let's see, if they're dry, it's Fred Astaire, or Gene Kelly. If they're wet, it's Esther Williams. Have you ever appeared in a dry movie, musical movie for MGM?
Yes, sir. I have appeared in many dry movies.
Have you ever appeared with Fred Astaire?
Yes, sir.
Well, if you're Ginger Rogers, you're very
Wrong.
lost tonight. You have appeared with... Well, you aren't Fred Astaire, are you?
No, sir.
Yes, it is not Fred Astaire, no.
Well, I'm stuck. Have you ever played... Did you get the girl in any picture that you did with Mr. Astaire?
No, sir.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Did you ever sing in a movie?
You could call it that, ma'am.
I think I called it that if you're who I think you are. Did you ever sing a song to a girl while you were walking in the rain, even if it was a dry musical?
Yes.
Did you sing a song about a fellow with an umbrella?
Yes, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you Peter Lawford?
Yes.
For Lord's sake, how did she do it? Dorothy, how did you get it? We thought we'd tie you in knots with this.
I'm president of the Peter Lawford fan club in our neighborhood.
Ah, well, that takes care of that. Well, Peter, I must say I thought we were going to give him a much rougher time than this, but it's nice of you to make a long journey. What brought you to New York?
I'm here on location for a picture for Columbia.
Ah, what is?
A name for herself, it's called, with Judy Holliday.
And you're making it in this area?
Yes, I spent the day at Columbus Circle.
Oh, for heaven's
Going
sake.
round and round in a Jaguar.
In Columbus Circle?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I hate to do this. You can get dizzy.
Yes, I got a little... What picture did Mr. Lawford make with Fred Astaire? Which one?
Easter Parade.
Oh, my.
How do you feel now, Mr. Cerf? Well, all I can say, Peter, is it was very nice of you to come and visit us, and we wish you tremendous success with the picture that you're making in New York, and of course it'll have a very special interest for all of us.
Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
being our guest in
Thank
What's
you,
My
John.
Line. Nice to see you. All right. And now, panel, we have just about 4 minutes plus left. See what you can do with another challenge. Will you sign in, please, sir? Dick. D. Ma. Z. O. Dick DiMaggio. Is that right? First of all, Dick, where are you from?
Norwood, Mass.
From Norwood, Massachusetts. Well, now, time is a little bit short, so I'll ask you to just walk down in front of the panel, turn right around and walk back again. Will you, please?
Shake hands, Nick.
Oh! All right, Dick, will you come over here now and sit down next to me, please? And as I think very probably you know, at this point we give the panel one free guess as to what your line may be. We begin the free guess as always with Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
I think he gives rub-downs to fighters.
He gives what, dear?
Rub-downs to
fighters?
prize fighters.
Mr. Allen.
I think he's a wrestler.
Miss Francis.
I think he's a good humor man.
Mr. Cerf.
I think he's a stand-in for Jackie Gleason.
No, afraid nobody has it. We'll let our viewers have a further look at Mr. Richard DiMaggio, and at the same time we'll tell them what his line is. But the panel will have to do the digging. All right, Mr. DiMaggio, I think you know the rules. Yeah. No answer, $5, 10 no's. We keep score here. You won the game. All right, Mr. DiMaggio is salaried, and with that we'll begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Mr. DiMaggio, do you work for a profit-making organization?
Yes.
I couldn't be more relieved. You're not a page boy, then?
No.
Do you, is there any product involved in what you do?
No.
No, the product here is secondary, and it's the service that's important. 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. DiMaggio, you look like the outdoors type to me. Do you do your work outdoors?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
This service that you perform, is it performed for living human beings?
Yes.
Are they both men and women?
Yes.
Are they having a good time because of what you do?
Very much so.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Are they watching anything?
You mean while they're doing it, are they watching anything?
At any time, John.
Yes.
Well, sometime between when they get up and go to bed, I guess they watch something. You go ahead, Miss Allen.
Do you work in the daytime?
Yes.
And are there usually more than 2 or 3 people around where you work?
At times.
There's sometimes crowds?
Yes.
Does it have anything to do with entertainment or sports?
Yes.
And you work in an enclosure of some kind?
Yes.
Is this something that people buy tickets to?
Yes.
And then after they buy tickets, do they sit in seats?
Some do.
You don't know how true that is.
Well, do they all also stand up because they're excited sometimes?
Yeah, I would think so, wouldn't you? Sometimes they stand up because they're excited.
Oh, do they ever stand up because they go to do something specific?
Yes.
Would it be anything like placing a bet?
No.
Oh, 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Allen.
Is there anything physical involved in your work?
Yes.
Are you in some sort of relaxing clothes while you do it, like trunks or a sweatshirt or something of that sort?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Is this enclosure that we've been speaking about, is it unlike a theater? By that I mean, is it an enclosure that might be more like a circus tent or a carnival enclosure of some kind rather than a theater, a building such as this?
Oh, rather than a firm building sort of thing. You mean, sort of, what you want to get is under canvas, more or less?
I wish I hadn't said that. I feel that card going over and over and over. Well, that is what I mean, so I'll have to stay with it, yes.
You want to stay with it. Well, that will make it 5 down and 5 to go, and unhappily we have run out of time, so we will have to give by default to Mr. DiMaggio the full prize. And Mr. DiMaggio teaches roller skating.
Oh.
Oh. Mr. DiMaggio, thanks very much for being our guest. Nice to have you on What's My Line, sir. Good night. Glad to see you.
Bye.
And now, in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you a preview look at one of our guests whose line our panel is going to be asked to try and identify on next week's program. Next week at this same time, our panel of experts will be asked, what's my line by this man? Would you know his occupation? Do you think you could spot his line? Well, for the answers to these and a good many other questions, and we hope for some good fun, be sure and join us again next Sunday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time, when once again Stop It invites you to play What's My Line? For other localities, check your local listings for the date and time of our weekly series, and don't forget What's My Line on the CBS radio network on Wednesday nights. Till we see you again, this is John Daly saying good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Steve.
Good night, Arlene.
Good night, Bennett.
Good night, John. I hope we don't melt.
You hope you don't melt? Amen. And good night, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production in association with the CBS Television Network.